Good morning, everybody. It's Barbie at Nellie and Ruth Designs. Welcome back. Today I want to share with you a couple Etsy shops, and I just find their digitals are absolutely gorgeous. The other thing I want to talk to you about is my printer that I use and the papers and the different sizes of digitals that you can print out. And what I mean by that is either a full page or a shrink to fit. So I'd love to have you stick around. I think this is something that you can benefit from all the way around between the Etsy shops, the digitals, the paper that I use to print my digitals on, and how I print. So, yeah, I'd love to hear what your thoughts are, what kind of printers you use. Maybe you could share some digitals with me, some different shops in my comments that I'm not familiar with, that you enjoy using in your collage work and in your junk journals. But I'd like to do these little videos every now and then. I just think they're very helpful, and I just like sharing what may be beneficial to you. So the two shops that I want to share today, and I printed them out, so I'll have these also in my description, but if you want to just jot them down as I'm talking, you can do that as well. Again, two shops. The first one is Vintage Scraps Crafts. Now, Karina is the owner of this shop, and she's from Switzerland. I follow Karina on Instagram. I followed her for a long time. I believe I've either done a postcard swap with her at one point through Marguerite Miller. I was fortunate enough to get one of Karina's pieces. I also think I have purchased a journal from her down the road, but I don't remember. I'd have to go back and look at some of my journals. But I love her work. She does absolutely beautiful work, and I highly recommend you follow her on Etsy, but definitely follow her on Instagram if you have a page there, an account, and you haven't finished her or haven't followed her yet. So this is her Instagram account right here. And I will, can you see that? I think that's in focus. So you can copy that down. And the digitals that I'm going to show you, the name of them are La Lumière de la Foi, which means the light of faith. So it has a religious theme to them. If you do follow Karina on Instagram, you will see she's been working with these new digitals that she's come up with, and her work is just gorgeous. So I recently purchased those. I think she's also possibly having a sale. She just had a birthday. So happy birthday, Karina, again. And I think she might, again, in lieu of her birthday, she might be having a sale in her shop. The other shop I'm just smitten with, again, I follow Nina on Instagram, and her Instagram, you've heard me talk about her before, it's In the Ink. And her Etsy shop is In the Ink with an FI at the end of it. And that stands for Finland, I'm assuming. So what you're going to, and remember, when you go on Etsy, you have to put all of these together, so it's with no spaces. And it used to be you had to capitalize the first letter in each word. I don't know if they still do that. They're really funny about that, and sometimes it's hard to find a shop name. Excuse me. But Nina's is In the Ink FI, okay? And then her Instagram is In the Ink. And then I have two different digitals that I ran off. I'm going to show you. The first one is going to be Colorful Autumn, and then Green Nature. So again, I highly recommend you following both of these ladies. Their work is gorgeous. So, and you can do so much with it. So I'm going to set this aside and we're going to get started. The first thing I think I'm going to talk about, though, before I show you the digitals, is the paper that I use. I use two different kinds, and I'll show you here. For the heavier cardstock images, I use this here. It's Canon Pixma. It's photo paper. It is for inkjets. Okay, I have an eco tank or echo tank, however you want to pronounce it. And I'm going to show you how you can actually use this in two different ways. Most of the time, I use it in photo paper mode. Most printers will give you the option of plain paper, photo matte paper, high gloss. This is a matte. Sometimes, and you'll see, sometimes I do, when I run this through, I will use just the plain paper setting. Sometimes I will use the photo setting, and you will be able to see the difference. So you're going to have to play around with your printer and how you like to see your images come through. The printer that I have is an Epson. It's an ET4800, and I wrote it down here, but again, I will have that in my description. So it's an Epson ET4800, an Echo Tank, and I absolutely love it. I've always used Epson printers. I don't like anything else. I've tried other printers. My son, God bless him, he bought me a printer probably 4 years ago for photos, and it was HP. It was awful. I mean, it was a nightmare from the time I hooked it up. It's actually sitting out in my hallway now. I don't know what to do with it. I feel terrible that he got me that printer and it's never worked. So I just said, you know what? My old Epson was biting the bullet, and it was just dying. I should say it was on its last leg. I bit the bullet to get a new one. So I had researched, and I found that the Epson ET4800 would give me what I was looking for. I bought it at Walmart. It was on sale. It was normal. I think if you get it on Amazon, I think they want $400 or more for it. At Walmart, I got it for $200. And these are the ink bottles that come with it, and these are very easy to use. I have a little bit left in here from when I initially filled the tanks. I have just a little bit left that I want to dump in here, and then I can get rid of these. But I will say this, with the Echo Tank and the ink, I have printed more digitals than I've ever printed before, and it seems like my ink is hardly being used, and the tanks are still nice and full, and I'm using colorful images. So it is using a lot. It is using a lot of ink. I mean, these are from Louise Heinzel. These are some of her digital image. So you can see the colors that are being used. And I've run these out and run them and run them and run them. And it doesn't seem like I'm using any ink at all. It just blows my mind. So here's another one. So you can see that it's using a lot of black. It's using a lot of different colors. And it's just, it's my workhorse. I love Epson, and I can't say enough about that brand. So if you're looking to, change over printers, I would definitely look at the ET4800. I think you'd be really pleased with it. So let me show you what I have here. I'll show you Karina's digitals first. And then I'm going to show you, I made a decision how I'm going to store these, because I find when I run my digitals off, they usually sit in a pile. And I'm going to start logging them, and I'll show you how I'm going to store them. So I can look and see exactly what I have. So this is Karina's. This is Vintage Scraps Crafts, La Lumière de la Foi, which is the light of faith. So you will see these are a lot of beautiful, beautiful religious images. And I love using these for my Bible cards, my verses, things like that that I do. So we have that there. And I'm going to show you the difference because I did it here. This was the first one that I ran. This one here, you can see, you'll be able to see a difference. I did not run another one, but you can see the difference in how vibrant these are compared to this. This is plain, this one here is plain paper mode. I did this on plain paper. I did not do it at the photo setting. And you can see this is a little more muted. It's not as crisp or sharp or bright. This is something good to use if you, again, if you want more of a softer palette, something a little more muted. Again, you're just going to have to play with your printer to see what you want to do with your projects. So this is the plain paper mode. This is everything else here is on the photo mode, and they're just beautiful, very crisp, sharp images. And these are so very pretty. So this is the entire set. I think there was maybe 12 sheets. I'm not quite sure. I'd have to go back and look. But these are just gorgeous, gorgeous images. Let's see. And the other thing that I want to talk about is the shrink to fit versus full page. All of these here, I did a shrink to fit. Sometimes you will notice if you work in printing digitals, it looks like they're going to fall off of the page. So a lot of times I will do a shrink to fit. It doesn't matter if the images come out a little bit smaller because they're still a nice size. Let me show you the size of these. Get my ruler. So the interiors, I mean, if you're going to have a little bit, say if you were to cut this out 2 3/4 by 5, this here is just shy of 3 by 5.5. You're still getting a nice image. And remember, you can cut to make a small border around these, however you want to use them. But these are all so beautiful. And if you go to Karina's Instagram page, you're all going to also see how she worked with these. And then these are the complimentary, not complimentary as they were free, but they complement all of the images of Mary. And so you can see here, it's quite lovely. Now, these here I ran on just plain old copy paper because I want to be able to rip and tear these. I don't want bulk. This is a little bit heavier, like a cardstock style, this Canon paper. And I want, if I'm going to be making tags, I want these to be a little bit stronger. And you can see here, again, I just did plain paper. I wanted the background to be a little bit muted. There's another one there. And these here are all, let's see, is this one? Some of these I did shrink to fit. This one here is a shrink to fit. So you can see that there's definitely more white on the side. It's giving me, this one here is full page. So you're still getting, even on the full page, you're getting a 1/2 inch all the way, almost all the way around, but at least a 1/2 inch on each side. This is a shrink to fit. So just remember that if you want to use these as a full page in a junk journal, you're going to want to play with your margins and whatever. You know, you might want them to fall right off of the page. There's another one there. So you can see these just go beautifully with, and I think she used some of the backgrounds behind here. And then this one here. And again, this is a shrink to fit. So it's going to be a little narrower. But you can see how beautiful these images go with all of that. So that is Karina's. That's the latest digital set that I purchased from her. Okay. And let me move over to Nina from In the Ink. And this is her latest. Oh, this one here, I need to tell you which one this is. Let me find this, because I actually have 3 here, so I want to find what I'm going to show you first. Okay, so this is titled Vintage Labels. And I just think that Nina has some wonderful, wonderful butterfly images in her shop. And this is all part, like I said, part of the Vintage Labels digital kit that I purchased from her. But these are a lot of fun here. So I wanted to show you that. These are not new in her shop, but these I ran off last night. So I just wanted to, share these with you because these are really fun labels that she offers. And look at all of these little there's little Marilyn Monroe there. Fun, fun labels. So these will come in very handy. I'll be cutting all of these. I wanted to cut so bad last night, but I wanted to do this video so you could see all of these. So that'll give me something to do. We've been watching the US Open. And it's hard for me just to sit there and watch. But I didn't want to cut these last night until I got all of this video done so you could see. So this is Nina from In the Ink. This is her latest. This is called Colorful Autumn. And you can see right here, her Etsy is In the Ink FI. Okay. And these I just love. I fell in love with them. She's been working with these on her Instagram page as well. And look at the colors. Now, when I printed this out, it is on the Canon paper, and I printed these in the photo mode. So the colors just pop. They are just bright and beautiful. But these are a lot of fun. And these here, again, you can either cut. See what she did here? She basically did the same thing, but she made the background white. So you could either fussy cut all around these and use these individually. This would make a nice side. These all would make beautiful side embellishments on your page. Or again, she put a background so these could be used as a belly band or however you see fit. So I think that's just wonderful. And then you have little individual leaves and sunflowers. But I really, really love Nina's work. I'm actually starting a collection of all of her digitals because they're just so bright and cheery and fun. Here's the honeycomb with everything, all the little images in there. And she gives you a lot. I mean, you have your mushrooms, your rabbits, squirrels, your crows, your chickadees. You have a fox, and then you have your beautiful buck there, or it could be an elk. I think it's a buck. Nice little squares, little square embellishments. These here, very cute for tags. You can even cut. What I like to do sometimes too is I'll take two images together and then I just do a score line and I make a little card out of them and slip it in my journal pocket. So I have almost like a little greeting card style. And then you have the little individual critters here, which are just adorable. So thank you, Nina, for creating those. They are so very pretty. So I have those, and then I ran some more. This I've had for a while, and I absolutely love it. It's called Green Nature, and again, it's from Nina in the ink. And because I like flowers so much and gardening, green is my favorite color. I ran these off, and I wanted to show you, I want to talk again about the two different versions that you can have. I ran this on the same exact paper. This is the Canon photo mat paper. This is in photo mode, okay? This is in plain paper mode. So you can see the difference. One is more subdued. It's kind of muted. The photo is bold and bright and very green and very expressive. So again, it just depends. You're going to get a different shade of green as well. You can see this here is more, in the photo, is more of an olive green, where this is a darker green. And again, so you can see the difference between here and there, these two. This one, more washed out, this here. So again, it just depends on what you're working on, what you want to do. And if you have, remember, if you have Photoshop, you can actually go in, and as long as you're using these for your own personal, you could alter these. You could make these blue. You could make them a pale pink. You could make them a pale yellow. Whatever you want. I mean, again, if you have Photoshop, there's a lot of things you can do. But remember, you have to use them for your own personal, because you can't alter other people's work. So just keep it your own, and for your own books if you're going to do something like that. So here's another with the individual little squares here to work with. But isn't this pretty? I just love it. And then there's some little tiny journaling cards. And again, you could cut these. You could cut one section out, or you could cut three out and you could do a trifold. There's so many things that you could do with these. All you'd have to do is cut these out, score down the middle, and you have a nice little journaling card. And these here, they're just shy of 2 by 3. So, and again, I did these as a shrink to fit. I think if I did a full page, these would have been off a little bit, but I'm going to have to go back and look on my printer. And again, if you want something a little bit larger, you can bring this up, and then you could crop out one photo, excuse me, one image. Then you could resize it. You could make this a 5 by 7. You could make it a 4 by 6. There's so many things that you can do with these once you download them. These here, because of the bright green, these are all in photo mode. I wanted that really dark, dramatic green effect. But these will be a lot of fun to cut out and work with. These are very, very pretty. And then these are all little. Now, I'm going to show you something else. This is, again, the Canon paper. This here I ran on plain cardstock, just in paper mode. So again, you can see the difference in the greens. Let's see, I don't know this one here. See that? I can do a little comparison here. So you can change it up however you see fit, or however you want to use them. Okay, see how this is much lighter. So you just play with it. Here is the flowers here again, a little bit different. See? So you just have to decide what you're going to, how you want to use them. So in like this here, I have this little flip book. I'm going to be putting this in Liz's yo-yo journal. So if I have some of these already made ahead, you know, then I can look to see, okay, well, is the dark images going to benefit me on this here, or do I want to go with something a little bit lighter? You know, then you can just play around with whatever you're working on and decide. So these are all from In the Ink. And again, like I said, I'll put these in my description box so you can follow these two amazing gals. Now, I'm going to show you, I think what I'll do is I'm going to show you what I decided, how I'm going to store these. Then I did find my journal that I purchased from Karina. And I want to share this with you because I want to show you her work. She just does absolutely beautiful work. But I was thinking about my digitals that I run off. And normally I would just make a big pile of these and I would flip through. I don't want to do that anymore. So I decided I was going to get a 3-ring binder because I have all of these protective sheets. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my digitals in protective sheets, and then I'm going to put them in my 3-ring binder. And then that way I can go through and I can sit and flip through my book if I want to use certain digitals, or let's see, so this, I'm going to do it this way. Doesn't really matter if you have these in, because I can still see what's, they don't have to be, if I flip them over, they don't have to be right side up. And I think this will be an excellent way for me. I don't know how you store your digitals. I'd love, you know, to know if you have separate folders and you have a little file cabinet and you just go over to the drawer, you know, and you pick something out. And I also figured that when I cut, when I take a sheet out and I cut, I can just slide. I used to just sit and cut. And then I would put them in my book, my little books like this. But then I don't always take my books out. I forget I have them. So I figured this would be a really good way to store these. And then I can just go through. And what I will do is I will make a divider, and I'll put like In the Ink. You know, remember the old, when you had your school dividers and you had math and English and social studies and chemistry. And I'll put who is who, whether it's In the Ink or Karina, or if it's Louise Heinzel or Liz Smith over at Mrs. Coggs Crafts. I can just go through to the individual and look to see what I have. Then I think it'll be easier, because then that way, when I have an item that is low, or I might only have a few images left, I can run another sheet, slide it in the protective folder here, and just continue working and figuring out. So if I as I cut something out and work with it, like I would just cut this image out, slide this back inside, or if I'm going to use all of these, I would just cut it out, maybe make a new sheet at that point. And then I would know that, okay, well, I've got to run another one off, or... So I think this here will work much better for me. I'm trying to become a little more organized, where I'm not so... Because once you have... Sometimes I have digitals I haven't even run off yet. I have some from Michelle Landry. Trying to think. Tea and Twine. And I've got some great images from her, but I don't think to go onto my computer. So I'm going to just do these and we'll just chat a little bit. So I decided to do this, and then that way, any new digitals that I do buy, I can just run off, put them in my binder, and then that's what I will have to work with. And really, there'll be no guessing. And I'll do, like I said, I'll do the little individual tabs to let me know who's who and where they are in my book. But again, I had all these hanging around from when I used to put my boys' awards, you know, their honor roll certificates and swimming certificates and things like that in these. So I got thinking I might as well put them to good use. It's one less thing that I have to buy. I'm trying to use up items that I have in my craft closet. Except, of course, if I go to Hobby Lobby and they have a reduced price sale and I can get things for 87 cents. And if you haven't seen my video on the Hobby Lobby haul that I did, I also made some really pretty tags at the end of that using the stamps that I got, and I used some pieces from In the Ink on some of those, on a couple, or on one of the tags. I only made 2 tags. So go back and watch that. That's a fun video. All right, one more. But I think this will work out really well. And then, silly me, when I was running when I put my plain paper in, sometimes I put scraps in with it. And I had a half a scrap. I thought I was running a full sheet. But I'm going to put that in there because you don't want to waste anything. There. So that's going to be how I'm going to be storing my digitals. Then I can just go through and see what I have from everybody. I have a lot more to run from in the ink. But I think this will be a much bigger help for me, knowing what I have and what I want to use. And then even on your background papers, I could run 3 or 4 of these, tuck them all in. That way I wouldn't have to, because I have a feeling I'm going to be using these a lot. So that is it for the digitals. So let me show you really quick. This is the journal that I had purchased from Karina. And it's so beautiful. I just love it. I love her work. And let me share this with you. I believe I did a video on this a while ago, but let me share with you again. And she has her slow stitching here. She obviously made these rosettes using scraps of fabric. And these are just beautiful, beautiful images. We have a pocket here with some lovely postcards, a very old envelope. And this is nice just to tuck something inside or even journal on the back. We all know whose page this comes from. I need not say. Here is another lovely little pocket. And she has an old letter in here, and she was even nice enough to translate it. So this is back from 1956. So lovely little letter there. I'm going to read this to you because it's quite interesting. It says, "Dear Manfred, thank you so much for your lovely letter and enclosed photo." Look at this. Isn't this beautiful handwriting? And enclosed photo. I always look at it when I feel lonely. Actually, I feel quite lonely and lost. Therefore, it feels so wonderful when someone is thinking of me. The only thing I need is comfort, as in such a big and foreign city where no one knows me, you easily fall into me. I'm not sure what this is. I can't tell, especially with a tendency to doldrums. I'm endlessly homesick to my grandparents in my loved hometown. It also touches me with sorrow when I'm thinking about my working place in Old. I really felt quite well in Edinburgh, also with Mr. looks like Clopel. I like to work with. My work fulfilled me while I actually sitting here idled. Now to my career aspirations. I think Shanty will take on a job as an office worker. My other wish is to go to Sweden. I'm also not quite well health-wise. The mental issue affects my stomach problems. The Easter days I'll spend all alone with myself. My parents will drive to Emden. Now I wish you a happy Easter with lots of colorful eggs. I greet you from my heart. Yours, Rosie Watcher. P.S. Call me Rosie. Rosie, Roselle, Rosie, or Rose. Marie, just as you like. D.O. Isn't that interesting? I love how they just put their initials at the end. Sometimes I think they put their initials at the end because they didn't want to identify themselves. Maybe they were writing to somebody that was married. I don't know. But here's a sweet little tag there. And this beautiful tag. I love Karina's work. Berlin. There's a beautiful little tag. This would be very pretty with her religious tag. I love how I have 2 paper bags sitting right over there from Banana Republic. They are huge, and I'm going to make a journal and tags with just the brown paper bags. So I'm kind of excited about that, and I'm excited to see that. And then we have a beautiful little piece of vellum here. Oh, I can't think of the name of this right now. Phlox, with the phlox on it. The flocking, I think they call it flocking. So pretty. Here's another very pretty tag with a wax seal. I like the size of these journals as well. I like the taller. I don't know if they call this a traveling journal. Here's a sweet postcard. So pretty. Here's a beautiful little, oh, this is her little thank you to me. Sweet little tag. There's so many ways to use so many little pieces of ephemera that, you know, you don't even think until you see it in someone else's journal. But she posted this on her Instagram, and I just fell in love with it. This is a pretty, pretty. You don't need to add a lot to a tag. This looks like it came from a masterboard. Here's another beautiful postcard. Beautiful, beautiful. And for me, I would never think of adding, you know, the bird photos with something so romantic. I don't know. I can really, I'm still learning. I'm still new to this junk journaling, even though I've made some. I have a tendency to have everything coordinating, but yeah, you don't have to. Here's an old negative. I love this. Isn't that pretty? That's decoupaged on there. And I love I call these upside down tuck spots. It's some sort of old bill or receipt. Little piece of paper there. And we have some extra little things here I could make tags with to write on. This is pretty. This gives me a little idea for my matchbooks. I have all these matchbooks that I'm not quite sure what to do with. And I've been thinking and thinking and thinking. That's a very cute idea. These are like little swatches. That is a little swatch of material. It's a cute little tag. This is a pretty tag. So you're definitely going to want to visit Karina's, look at this picture here of these two gals, of her Etsy shop. I don't know what she has. Her digital's in there. I don't know if she has any journals. But take a look to see what she has. And that is it. I'm going to tuck this right back in there. And then we are going to, I love how she winds this up as well. Winds it up, closes it up. I think I was talking about a clock or something. She winds it up. So, that is it. That's today's video. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed showing you everything. I'd love to hear your comments. Don't be shy. I don't get a lot of comments, and I do like chatting with everyone. But I'd love to have you hear what you think about the items and the digitals that I showed today. So thanks, everybody. I think I'm covered it all for you, and I'd like to send blessings to you. Fall is just around the corner. We have these beautiful September days. I'm getting back in the mood to do a little bit more creating now, but I still want to be outside because we just have such beautiful weather. So enjoy your days, everyone. Enjoy your craft room, and I will see you quite soon in my next video. All right, everybody. Bye-bye.